Now, direct from the Emerald Isle, here's a performer who has crossed the globe, making beautiful music for 30 years, a native of Waterford, Ireland. Please welcome Martin Flynn.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
Please welcome, direct from Carnegie Hall, Mr. Martin Flynn.
Father Maloney said to me, he said, "Martin, do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold?" And I said, "I do." He looked at her, he looked back at me, he said, "Martin, I'll ask you one more time." I said to him, "How much do I owe you, Father?" He said, "Whatever you think 'tis worth, Martin." I gave him 5, he gave me 4.50 change. I was sitting in the living room the other morning, and she called out to me, she said, "Martin, Martin, come in here to the kitchen and make mad, passionate love to me." I said, "Why are you picking on me?" She said, "I'm boiling an egg and I want to time it." And I am convinced that my wife is on drugs. I am convinced she's on drugs. Last week I was leaving the house to go out on a gig, and the telephone rang. I picked it up, and a fella said, "Is that dope gone yet?" My wife, she went to the doctor yesterday. She couldn't go last week, she was sick. And while she was sitting in the doctor's waiting room, this little nun came running out of the doctor's office, crying her eyes out, ran out the door, ran down the street, terribly distraught, crying her eyes out. My wife went into the doctor. She said, "My goodness, doctor, what was wrong with that poor little nun? She ran out of here, crying her eyes out, ran down the street, terribly distraught." The doctor said, "I told her she was pregnant." "And is she?" "No, but it cured her hiccups." My wife said to me, she said, "Martin, if you won the lottery, would you still love me?" I said, "I would. I'd miss you." She's always complaining to me that I never take her anywhere. Do you get that, gentlemen? You don't take me out. You hear that? Yeah. Then when you decide to take her somewhere, she complains to me. She said, "I have nothing to wear." I said to her, "Wear your white dress." She said, "I can't. The veil has a hole in it." Last week she complained to me that I never pay any attention to her. I don't give her enough attention, and so on and so on. I got home that evening. She said to me, "There's something different about me today," she said. "Let's see if you can tell me what it is." You got new shoes." I said, No, that's not it. You got your hair done." That's it. You got your hair done." No, that's not it." "You got a new dress?" "No, that's not it." "Well, I give up. What is it?" She said, "I'm wearing a gas mask." Show me the way to go home. Come on now. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. Ah, yes. I had a little drink about an hour ago. It's gone right to my head. So find yourself somebody. Try to find yourself somebody. You gotta find yourself somebody to love. I have a friend back home. His name is Murphy. Lots of people back home were called Murphy. But he telephoned Aer Lingus one day. That's the Irish Airlines. He picked up the telephone. He said, "Excuse me, miss, how long would it take me to fly from Shannon Airport in Ireland to Kennedy Airport in New York?" She said, "Just a minute." He hung up the phone and he said, "My goodness, that's marvelous." So anyway, he finally got on the flight with his pal Casey, of course. He had a pal Casey. He got on the flight to Kennedy Airport. They were out about 20 minutes from Shannon Airport when the captain came on the microphone. The captain said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have a little bit of bad news for you. The number 1 engine has gone out. We're going to be 25 minutes late arriving at Kennedy Airport." About an hour later, the captain came on the microphone again. Forgive me for laughing. I know the ending to this one. About 45 minutes later, the captain came on the microphone again. He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have some more bad news for you. The number 2 engine has gone out. We're going to be an hour and a half late arriving at Kennedy Airport." About 3 hours later, the captain came on the microphone once again. He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have some more bad news for you. The number 3 engine has gone out. We're going to be 14 hours late arriving at Kennedy Airport." Murphy turned to Casey. He said, "My God, Casey, if the number 4 engine goes out, we'll be up here all night." Actually, that reminds me of another story. He was sitting next to me in the bar one day, and he was reading the newspaper, feeling rather philosophical, as happens when you have some drink in you, I guess. I wouldn't know personally. But anyway, he was sitting there reading the newspaper, and he looked up to me and he said, "You know, Martin," he said, "there are no morals in the world today. There are no morals in the world anymore. For instance," he said, "I didn't sleep with my wife before I married her. Did you?" You're ahead of me now. I said, "I don't know. What was her maiden name?" He went into a pub one day. He said to the bartender, "Give me 5 whiskies, 5 brandies, and 5 large pints of Guinness, please." Bartender put up 5 whiskies, 5 brandies, 5 large pints of Guinness. Murphy went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15 of them, drank them down like that. The bartender said, "My goodness, that's amazing." He said, "I've been in this business 35 years. He said, "I've never seen anything like that in all my time." Murphy said to him, "If you had what I have, you'd drink like that too." The bartender said, "What have you?" He said, $1. He went into another pub, half drunk as usual. He said to the bartender, "Could I have a gin and tonic and gin, please?" Bartender said, "Murphy, you're blind drunk." He said, "Get out of here, go home." He said, "You're blind drunk." Murphy said, "I am not blind drunk. If I was blind drunk, I wouldn't be able to see that cat walking in the front door with one eye." "That cat isn't walking in the door, Murphy. That cat is walking out the door." He was riding down the street on his motorbike one day about 50 miles an hour when a police officer pulled him over. He said, "Murphy, do you know your wife fell off the bike about 5 miles back?" Murphy said, "Thank God, I thought I'd gone deaf." He was walking down the street one day with the dog under his arm. Casey said to him, "Where are you going with the dog?" Murphy said, "I'm going to have him put away." Casey said, "Is he mad?" Murphy said, "Well, he's not too pleased." Murphy said to Casey, he said, "I hear you were on vacation recently. Where did you go?" He said, "I went to San Juan and San Jose." Murphy said, "Don't be silly, man. It's not San Juan and San Jose. The J is silent. It's San Juan and San Jose." "When did you go?" "Last Hoon and Hulai." Murphy was walking through the graveyard one day, and he saw his pal Casey standing over the graveyard, over a gravestone. And he was crying and moaning, "Why did you die? Why did you die? Why did you die?" Murphy said to him, "Who was it that died? Your father, your mother?" He said, "No, no. Why did you die? Why did you die? Why did you die?" Murphy said, "Well, was it your brother or sister?" "No, no. Why did you die? Why did you..." "Well, for goodness sake, man, who was it that died?" "It was my wife's first husband." "Why did you die? Why did you die?" "I must say goodbye, but you must go on living. And when my life is through, I'll always be with you, my one and only son. I'm sad that after searching so long, knew I loved you, but I told you, walk away, walk on. But coming back when summer's in the Manhattan touched and white with snow. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.